7.6 is solving two-step inequalities. Solving inequalities is very similar to solving equations. However, don't forget you must flip the direction of the inequality sign if you multiply or divide by a negative number. And don't forget you're going to have open dot and closed dots. Closed dots if it's less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. It's going to be an open dot if it's less than or greater than. So you're going to use the same rules for solving equations as you do inequalities, but then you just have to graph it at the end. So the first one, to solve for y, you want to add 3 to each side. So you're going to get 2y is less than or equal to negative 2. Then you divide both sides by 2. But you're not going to change the inequality because you're dividing by a positive 2. So you keep this inequality the same. It's still going to stay the same. So negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. And when we graph this, we put a closed dot at negative 1. And all numbers that are less than or equal to negative 1, that make sense. So like negative 2 is less than or equal to negative 1. Negative 2 is over here, so it's going to the left. And then the second one, we're going to add 6 to each side. So it's negative 1/3 x minus 6 less than, oops, this negative 6 is gone, less than negative 1. So this negative 1/3 x, you can either write it as x over negative 3, or you can keep it with like the fraction. So to get rid of the fraction, you multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 1/3 is 3 over 1. And since this number has a negative, and we need to write a negative 2 as well. So this is going to be times negative 3 over 1. This cancels out, so it's x. But now it's going to be greater because you're multiplying by a negative. So negative 1 times negative 3 is 3, positive 3. So we make an open dot at 3, and I'm going to the right. Because numbers that are bigger than 3 are 4, 5, 6, 7, and they're on the right. Okay, number 3. We're going to subtract 4 from each side. So I'm going to have negative 2m less than or equal to 6. Now I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2. Since I'm dividing by a negative, it's going to change to greater than or equal to. And 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3. So I put a closed dot at negative 3. And it's greater than negative 3, so it's going to the right. And then number 4, I'm going to solve for x. So I need to get rid of the 7. It's a positive 7, so I subtract 7. This cancels out. So I have negative x is greater than negative 4. Because 3 minus 7 is negative 4. So the number that's in front of you, remember, is a negative 1. So you need to divide both sides by negative 1. So it's going to be x, but I'm dividing by a negative 1, so this needs to change. So it's going to be less than 4. Negative 4 divided by negative 1 is positive 4. So I put an open dot at 4, and numbers that are less than 4 are going this way.